After almost 40 years in financial services, I've helped people young and old map out their finances and prepare for the future. But specifically, I've helped a lot of people over the age of 40 when they suddenly seem to become a little more motivated to plan, and specifically plan for retirement. And amongst those people, I've noticed there were things that some of them were doing to really enjoy life to the full, whilst others were not, and in the process, ultimately not living their best lives. So today, let's talk about 9 things to stop doing after 40 if you want to live life to the full. Well, the first thing you absolutely must stop doing is taking time for granted. Now let's get real for a second, folks. Your health will probably decline as you age, but your wealth, well, that does tend to grow over time if it's being monitored and managed properly, of course. But here's the thing, later in life, health becomes your true wealth. Imagine having all the wealth in the world, but not the health to fully enjoy it. That would be pretty painful. It's far more fulfilling to be in great shape with the energy and freedom to enjoy everything that you've built. After all, we do have a finite amount of time, and the clock, sadly, is ticking. So my friends, it's crucial to start using your time wisely and meaningfully. Be present, be mindful, and live in the moment. Your time is just as valuable, if not more so, than your money. So make sure you're spending it in a way that brings you true wealth, health, joy, and memories that will last you a lifetime. Number 2 is about debt. Are you still carrying credit card debt? Are you paying off loans with sky-high interest rates? Well, if the answer is yes, think about this. That money you're throwing away on interest could be spent on living life, not filling the bank's or credit card providers' pockets. Now, the key here is to prioritize paying off high interest debt first. If you've got several debts, why don't you consider consolidating them or refinancing to lock in better, cheaper rates? There's also an absolute stack of 0% interest credit card deals about, so why don't you use those to save your money compared to high interest rate debt? Now, so many folks concentrate on paying their mortgage off early, which is a feel-good strategy, most certainly, but they still have high-cost debt. If you've got a lot of equity in your house, when you next come to remortgage, why don't you think about borrowing a bit more to repay your more expensive debts? Your mortgage is typically the cheapest borrowing you'll have, other than those 0% interest deals, of course. And although increasing your mortgage to pay off other debts can be difficult emotionally, why don't you get your logical heads on, do the maths, and weigh up all the options? Now, I'm not saying that paying off debt will magically solve all your problems, but trust me, not having to pay unnecessary interest will feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders, and it will ultimately improve your wealth. Get strategic about how you pay off your debt. Your future self will definitely thank you. Now, here's a mindset shift that can truly make a difference. Stop worrying excessively. You've probably heard the saying, worrying means you suffer twice. Well, it couldn't be truer. And here's the thing, worry often comes from 2 specific places: what we hear in the news and all the imagined dangers about the future. There's an interesting word I've heard recently. It's called catastrophizing, but it basically means that your brain goes absolutely bonkers and you think about the absolute worst things that can happen in any given scenario, even though the likelihood of them really happening is probably close to 0. But guess what? Most of it is either out of your control altogether, or you can completely influence what really happens yourself. So instead of wasting energy on things you can't change, focus on what you can control: your portfolio, your spending, and yes, your physical health and your relationships. Worrying only steals today's peace without ever solving tomorrow's problems. So stop letting it rob you of today and the present. Take charge of what you can control and let go of the rest. Point number 4 is stop putting off financial advice. And here's the thing, folks, if you want to truly enjoy your retirement, this is a step you cannot afford to skip. You might feel like you can handle everything yourself, but let's face it, financial decisions are a lot more complex now than they were in your 20s or 30s. They're also far more important because mistakes cannot be so easily rectified later. Getting professional advice can really help you avoid the costly mistakes many people make on their own. Instead of trying to figure it all out yourself, which is probably most people's nature, why not flip the script and let an expert help you make the most of your money and thus your future? Whether it's retirement planning, is it tax efficiency, is it investing? Well, a good advisor can be a total game changer, so stop going it alone. Sometimes the right advice is worth its weight in gold, and it can make all the difference in the world. Now, as we just talked about, stopping the habit of going it alone with your finances and seeking the right advice can really make a difference. And there's one key piece to that puzzle: maximizing your pension. That's why I've created this free guide with 10 top tips for improving your pension pot. These strategies will help you ensure your pension is on the right track. It'll avoid costly mistakes and get the most of your savings. So don't wait. Click the link in the description below to grab your free guide and start boosting your pension today. So coming in at number 5, something you absolutely need to stop doing is putting off life and health insurance. So please listen up. It's really easy to think, I'm healthy, I don't need any of that stuff. In fact, some people think they are invincible and immortal, I think. Well, we aren't, folks. And the older we get, the more we realise that. At a really fundamental level, the reason you get insurance isn't for the things you're expecting, it's to protect against the unexpected. And if you've got people depending on your income, now's the time to make sure they are protected. If you've made it into your 40s and your 50s without a major incident robbing you of your ability to work and earn, well done. You're one of the lucky ones, and that fortunately includes me. I'm sorry to tell you though that the reality is that the odds are stacked against you now. And this is the point where you and your partner are more likely to have your life derailed by a critical illness or a serious accident. Life insurance, critical illness cover and income protection can give you peace of mind knowing your financial future will not fall off a cliff if your earnings stop for whatever reason. So please stop taking risks with your family's security and really prioritize and protect what matters most: you and your income. Now, on top of worry, something that many people tend to put off is their will and estate planning. Without a will, you're leaving your loved ones in a position of uncertainty and in some cases facing unexpected tax bills. It's one of those things that seems like it can wait, but really it absolutely shouldn't. So stop leaving it for later. If you haven't sorted out your will yet, it's time to take some action. And if you already have one, make sure to review it every few years to ensure it reflects your current wishes. If you want to make sure everything's in order, we can help you, and we work with some brilliant will writers to get your estate planning ducks in a row. This isn't just about the money involved, by the way. It's ultimately more about making things easier for the people you care about and leave behind. So stop delaying something that you'll need to do eventually and go get your legacy secured with some proper planning. Now, the 7th thing is to stop compromising on your health and instead actually make your physical fitness a proper priority. And this is something that a pretty large majority of the people who enjoy their life much more after 40 are intentionally doing. Why don't you eat healthy, drink plenty of water, moderate your alcohol intake, how very dare I, join a gym, go for some long walks and go for some bike rides. Now, number 8 is a bit obvious but a hard habit to break. And that's to stop spending without tracking it. Have you ever looked at your bank statement and wondered where on earth all your money actually went? I think I do that most months. It's super easy to go and spend money on entertainment, on travel, and oftentimes things you don't actually need. And it all adds up. Especially after 40, it's more important than ever to be intentional with your money because you've got less working years ahead of you, and you should be at the very least starting to think seriously about life after graft. So what you can do is use budgeting tools or apps to track your spending and find areas where you can save money deliberately without sacrificing most of your lifestyle. And this, time and time again, leads to more peace of mind and general enjoyment of life after 40, quite often with less stress. Now let's talk about something that can hold you back without you even realizing it: pretending to be someone you're not. Now, many people's biggest regret at the end of their lives isn't about the things they did, but it's about the things they didn't do because they were too busy trying to meet other people's expectations. They wish they'd been more true to themselves, embraced who they really are, and lived more authentically. And how often do you find yourself trying to fit into a mold that wasn't really meant for you? Trying to be someone you think others would want to be. What if you could just stop and embrace who you truly are? Here's a quote that sums it up perfectly. Realize that no one was thinking about you as much as you thought. Most of the pressure we feel is self-imposed, and the truth is people are far more focused in their own lives and their own problems than we often realize. So take a moment to reflect. Are you living life according to your own values, or are you still trying to meet expectations that aren't even yours? It's never too late to start being the real you. And I wanted to include another little saying here by the late great John Lennon. Life is what happens to you whilst you're busy making other plans. So whilst planning and goal setting is of course absolutely vital to the future, remember to live life in the moment and enjoy the life you have with the people who matter to you, because we're only here once and only for a short while, and life is not a rehearsal. Now, if you're past 40, there's a really good chance you've at least thought a wee bit about retirement. But what you might not know is that it's possible to retire far sooner than you might think. And there are just 5 questions that if you can answer truthfully yes to, you might be able to retire right now. Imagine that. So in the next video, I'm going to explore all those 5 questions and help you answer the question of whether or not you're able to retire right now, or if you should wait a little bit longer so you can make the decision to keep working and building up that nest egg and the funds you need to comfortably retire, or if you're ready to enjoy your life without the pressure and responsibility of work on your shoulders. And I'll see you in the next video.